exceptional fights, and we've got 3 more coming up for you, including a world title fight and some very tasty confrontations indeed. Tickets are still available for Midlands Mayhem for the arena on Saturday night, and I think anybody who knows their boxing and looks at the range of talent that's on this bill will realise that it is a very high quality night's entertainment indeed. You've not got, you don't look at the bill and see 6 fights all on the left hand side and you think they're going to be 6 wins. These are 6 very, very competitive fights, and I'm sure that that's going to be borne out in what we see come Saturday night. We're going to see some very high quality entertainment indeed. Well, I mentioned to you that Anthony Kakachi can't be here, so the British Super Featherweight champion Sam Bowen is across to my right. We'll be talking to him shortly. As well as that, a very, very entertaining super middleweight fight between Lerone Richards, the Commonwealth champion, up against Lennox Clark, and the vacant British title is going to be up for grabs as well there. And top of the bill, I suppose you'd say, is the WBO bantamweight title. Challenging for that title, Juan Casimero, who's sitting on my left here from the Philippines, managed or promoted by the great Manny Pacquiao, and Sean Gibbons, who's the Chief Executive Officer, President, I think, of Manny Pacquiao Promotions. He's here as well and going to be speaking alongside Juan, whose English isn't that great, so we'll find out exactly what he makes of this fight. And alongside me, somebody who's proved he's undefeated in 12 fights now and is absolutely at the elite level of the bantamweight division. The two of them are hoping that there could be a fight down the road against the brilliant Japanese champion, the WBA Super Champion, IBF champion, Naoya Inoue, and Zolani Tete is the current WBO bantamweight champion, and he will be squaring off against Casimiro in what I'm sure is going to be a tremendous high quality top of the bill world title fight. And just talking to a few of the fighters who are here today, I think to a man, everybody involved, when I've said, yeah, that's a tasty fight, isn't it? And they've all said, you bet, that is a very, very high quality fight indeed, and one which, as the commentator, I'm looking forward to immensely. Now, first of all, let's talk about Sam Bowen. British Super Featherweight title against Anthony Kakachi. He's not here, which is a shame, but I know that just sort of acting as devil's advocate, if you like, he really fancies this one, Sam.
Yeah, I'm sure he does. Everyone who's going to be boxing me thinks they're going to fancy beating me, but they never do. So, like I say, on Saturday, we'll show what I'm about, and I'll be coming out with the belt as I went in with.
He's a rangy fighter and a good boxer. I think if he was here, he'd say those boxing skills are going to serve him well.
Yeah, he's good. He's a good rangy fighter. That just means I've got to get on him and rough him up and hurt him, and that's what I'm going to do.
You've gone full time as a pro now, haven't you? The job's been put to one side for the time being, so you've really made a statement that boxing is where you're at now.
Yeah, I left my job. Like I say, training's gone a lot better. I'm a lot more refreshed. I'm not exhausted all the time because obviously working and training. Sparring's been a lot better. I've managed to get a lot more rounds. Obviously when I'm working full time, I'll be sparring at like 7 in the evening, and obviously there's very few people that are prepared to be sparring so late. Whereas now, sparring midweek in the day, done a fair few 12-rounders, and preparation's gone a lot better, a lot smoother. I've not got a cold, I'm not flued up like normal, because obviously I'm exhausted and drained, and I sound fresh and ready.
How did you come to that decision to say, yeah, I'm going to stop working, boxing's where I'm at? Is it the influence perhaps of Carl Greaves, your manager? Did he encourage you down that route?
We've always said that at some point we've got to concentrate on the boxing. It was my injury this year that's done it for me. I just thought, look, I'm about better, I've just got to fight there, I'm due to go back to work. I just don't think I could do the both. I'll end up being back injured and I won't be able to train properly. and I just thought one's got to go. So I just thought I can get a job anytime. Like I said, let's concentrate on boxing for now. We've got a fight date in it was like 8 weeks time, so let's just do it.
Anthony's got the one defeat on his record against Martin J. Ward. You were there at ringside, weren't you, for that?
Yeah, I went to watch the fight. That was an entertaining fight, as in they're both top fighters. Martin Ward's very good, I rate him. He's a very, very good boxer, very different to me, so it's hard to compare, but I thought that it was the right decision on the night.
Anthony thought he was robbed.
I don't know why I thought that. It wasn't one-sided, but I thought the right decision went to Martin Ward, and I thought it was fair enough. He just did a bit more. But yeah, like I said, I was there watching.
I see you doing a bit of bit of homework. Maybe it's the Irish slant, but Carl Frampton thinks, when he looks around the talent in your division, that Anthony should have got really up towards world title level.
Yeah, he's from the same area. He's going to speak highly of people that he knows and from his area. But what people say is different to what people do on the night. I mean, they were saying how hard he is, but when he's sparring, he could be 10.5 stone. He's not fighting. The fight's not made at 10.5 stone. He's got met 9 stone 4. Like I said, we'll see how drained he is on the night. And like I say, and then when there's me who's fresh and ready and strong, always strong on the night, we'll see.
How drained are you at 9'4" though? Because I mean, you're not a small bloke for a super feather.
No, I met the weight fine. Like I say, I've got a good diet. I train hard. Like I say, I'm not carrying fat. Like I say, everything's down to a T. Yeah, I know I've been working. That's not very professional, but everything is professional. Like my diet's professional, and like I say, I'm not drained. I recover. I recover really well and quick. I don't have to drain myself to make the weight, and that always shows on the night. And I always did it as an amateur as well. Like I say, I always boxed heavier lads, and I was fine. So I can box heavy opponents, and they're not phase me. So people saying he's hitting hard in sparring, I thought, we'll see. So.
And now you're full time. You want the big fights. I mean, you want to win on Saturday, but I guess you want to move on.
Yeah, getting through Saturday, I only need to defend the British one more time to keep it. So it'd be silly not to. Like I said, there's still a fair few fights that could be made at British level that are competitive to fights. Like this one's going to be on Saturday. I don't make the matches, so like I said, that's not down to me. But ideally after that, yeah, we'd like to be pushing on with the WBO.
Kakachi's people, I'm sure, will be probably watching this online even as we speak. And I know from having talked to him at the previous press conference how much he feels that his boxing skills are going to make it a very, very awkward night for you. And they genuinely believe that they're going to win this title. What sort of message have you got for them?
Yeah, I'm glad to think that. I don't really there's a lot of stuff on social media. I don't really buy into it. I don't really read into it. They're just trying to get in your head, and I just really have got zero enthusiasm to retaliate to any of the boring stuff that they put. I just think they're probably fat, overweight, sat at home just typing stuff. You know, I mean, ain't got a laugh, ain't got a missus, just bored. So I think let's just be negative.
Well, it's going to be a good fight, nevertheless. Though I think you take that, wouldn't you? I mean, in an ideal world, I guess you go out in the first round and knock him out. But the reality is that's not going to happen. In all probability, it's going to be a very entertaining fight.
Yeah, it's going to be a long, entertaining fight. I never go out to try and stop him early. That's why we train for the 12 rounds. That's why I've done 12 rounds in sparring. We know that I'm capable of doing the 12 rounds. So, like I say, if it goes 12 rounds, which I'm not bothered if it does do that and win on points, I'll be happy with that, as long as I'm safe and happy.
Well, that's Sam Bowen against Anthony Kakachi, which is the British super featherweight title. And moving on now to the super middleweights, we've got Lerone Richards to my right, who won the Commonwealth title and is now going for the vacant British title, that's right. Up against Lennox Clark, local lad from Halesowen. You're going to be getting plenty of support in that arena, Lennox. Let's start with you and talking about that. As a local man, buoyed by that big support, how much of an advantage might that give you?
Listen, obviously I'm not looking into much of a home advantage. Obviously, knowing Lerone is very professional, but obviously my camp's gone very well. I've trained very hard, and I believe it's going to pay off on the night. just through the hard work that I've done.
Some people close to his camp would say that he's just too good a boxer for you.
Listen. Obviously, the game plan I'm coming with, doesn't matter how good his boxing ability is, he's got to be prepared to go where I'm prepared to go on that night. You know, he's boring. His boxing's boring. You know, like, I'm going to bring nothing but excitement, and I promise nothing but fireworks on Saturday.
Yes.
Are you thinking you've got to stop him and got to knock him out?
Listen, I've trained hard enough to go 12 rounds, and I believe it's going to be a 12-round fight. He's going to try and nick it and hustle his way through, because that's how he fights. You know, I'm going to be too relentless for him. I'm going to cause him nightmares in there on Saturday, and I believe I'm going to be British and Commonwealth champion.
I'll get Larone's response for a minute, so please don't take this badly, but you critics, Larone's critics, say that as a fighter, he can be lazy. Do you agree with that?
In this fight, he's not going to be able to be lazy, so obviously you'll see a different side to him come Saturday, but I believe in what I've been working on, and it's going to pay off for me.
Larone, you hear all that, and you hear me say that your critics have described you as a little bit lazy. I'm not totally convinced that Tommy Langford would agree with that. He was putting it on you, and you found another level against him, and were able to get an impressive win against a quality opponent.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said before, I give myself a C- for that performance. It wasn't great. Obviously, I had a 13-month layoff, and I came straight into a big fight. So yeah.
He can be, as a fighter, quite an intimidating presence. Do you recognise that?
Who? Lennox Clark?
Lennox.
No. Lennox Clark talks a little bit too much, and you know, on Saturday you'll find out what Lerone Richards is all about.
You have this terrific boxing ability. I think anybody who's seen you would recognise that, but he clearly intends to put it on you to an extent where that boxing ability is really going to be tested.
Yeah, but there's more strings to my bow, and like I said, you'll find out on Saturday.
Do you think your power is underestimated? Do you think you're a bigger puncher than people perhaps recognise?
Mm-hmm.
Care to amplify?
Not really.
So what about the suggestion? I know you said about the C- thing. The suggestion that some of your critics have said, and I think Alan, your trainer, Alan Smiths, has said that, you know, sometimes you fight in the comfort zone, that you don't really give absolutely everything that you sometimes are capable of producing. Do you agree with that?
Well, I work hard. You know, I'm a hard worker. I don't want anyone to think I'm lazy. You know, I work hard like I haven't got any talent. And like I say, on the 30th, you'll see a different Lerone Richards.
Tell us about a little meeting that you had. I think you were both ringside at York Hall when he got under your skin a little bit, didn't he? Lennox. I heard he was smiling at you in a way you didn't. It didn't bring out the big smile on your face.
No, I saw. I was at York Hall. It was at a show at York Hall.
Brad Foster, wasn't it?
That one, yeah. And I was just watching my friend box and just looking around, and I see Lennox Clark looking at me. I was like, oh, there's Lennox, like that. And he was all smirking, giving me like screw faces, and I thought, oh, right, that's cool, man. It's not a problem. You know, we'll fight when we need to fight.
So there was at that moment a little bit of sort of, you know, let's wait. We'll see, and there'll be payback. I'll get that smirk off.
No. It's not personal. This is a strictly business for me.
Strictly business. Lennox, you'd remember that moment. What did you? Were you trying to get under his skin?
No, obviously there was talk of the fight. He's my opponent, so he's the next obstacle I've got to get past. You know, so if I want to look at him, I'll look at him. You know, and as simple as that.
And when you look at him across the ring when that bell goes on Saturday night, what sort of thoughts will you have then?
Listen, I'm just going to execute my game plan to how we've been training over the last 8 weeks, and obviously I've got full belief in it paying off, so yeah.
And how do you think this will end?
Me definitely being crowned British champion. I can't predict an outcome of how it's going to come, but I'm definitely going to be the winner.
Lerone, I mean, often people watching on television, you know, you get your massively hyped fights involving the big names, and sometimes, quite honestly, they don't really deliver. But these British title fights sometimes can be the best fights on the bill. We've got several on this card. Are you anticipating a hard night against Lennox?
That's what I've trained for.
And you're anticipating victory?
Absolutely.
And how's it going to come?
We'll see.
Thanks for making my job so easy. But it is going to be an excellent fight, I'm sure. And you know, I mean, at the first press conference, I said that I believe this could be one of the outstanding fights that you would ever see, and perhaps could turn out to be the best fight on the card of the undercard fights. Both of them really, as you can see, clearly fancy it. And when you've got two guys who go in there fully believing that they will win, then usually you get a very good fight. And that's what, as commentator and you know, the guy trying to create interest here today, that's something that I'm pretty confident that we're going to get. Now, top of the bill, WBO bantamweight title fight. Zolani Tete, to my right, against John Riel?
John Riel. John Riel.
John, we're calling you John as opposed to... Okay. John Riel Casimero from the Philippines, 30 years old, 28 wins, 4 defeats. Zolani, a year older, 28 wins, 3 defeats. Just tell us why you think that this is going to be your night.
Good afternoon, everybody. This fight, thank you for opportunity to fight. Then I tell you, this is the good fight. I give the good fight this coming November 30.
He's a lot bigger than you. He's 5'9", you're 5'4". You've been a world champion at light flyweight and flyweight. What makes you convinced that you can get to him? Because he's got the big reach advantage.
My advantage is I'm smart, then I have a power, then good stamina.
And you're promoted by Manny Pacquiao. Has he had words of encouragement for you?
Yeah, this Manny Pacquiao he tell me that you work hard training, then go for the gold.
What about coming over to the UK to fight? What's your thoughts about that? Because Zolani's, I mean, this is a second home to him now. He knows all about fighting in the UK.
Yeah, I'm a second time display in UK. And then my opponent before Charlie Edward, then there's the good fighter.
And you the first time, of course, was when you stopped Charlie Edwards in September, what is it now, 2016, 3 years ago. Are you a better fighter now?
Yeah, this is best fight because I'm a work hard training. Then I do my best. I wanna win.
What are your thoughts about Zolani as a fighter?
Zolani is a good boxer. Then that's a top. Then same to me. He's a good boxer too.
He once won a fight in 11 seconds. He's not going to do that to you, is he?
Yeah, I have this one, but maybe this fight I give the good fight for Zolani Tete.
Sean, can I bring you in here? It's lovely to hear John struggling his way through my questions in what is clearly not his natural language. You work alongside Manny and a president of the promotional company behind John. Just give us an idea of how much interest there is in the Philippines and how popular he is in his home country.
First, to have someone like Senator Manny Pacquiao behind you, that just shows what type of talent you are for the senator to sign you. There's a lot of fighters he could work with, and he sees something special in John Riel. In the Philippines, Casimiro's in the top 3 or 4 fighters in the best fighters in the Philippines. He's traveled the world. He's fought in 7 different countries. He's won 3 world titles. He's come to England before. So, I mean, he feels very good here, he feels very comfortable, and he's really looking forward to entertaining the fans here in Birmingham Saturday night.
How close is he? How much does he know Nonito Donaire?
You know, Nonito.
And he was involved in that terrific fight recently against Inoue in the World Boxing Series final.
Yeah, he knows Nonito. Not very close, but they've talked before. They've spoke. Nonito has given him some pointers, about the fight. He actually mentioned a couple of things about Tete, things that he was working on, because Nonito had come to the Philippines to prepare for the Inoue fight. So Casimiro and him are casual friends. They're not very, real close though.
And they've talked, obviously, about Zolani possibly having that fight somewhere down the line against Inoue. We'll talk about that in a moment. But first of all, fourth defence of your title, and because of a shoulder injury which ruled you out of that World Series, you've been out of the ring for a while now. Are you concerned about ring rust?
Yeah, of course, I am concerned because I used to be an active fighter, but the way I've been training and the way we've been preparing with my team, I think being away from the ring for a long time won't be a factor to us.
What was the injury exactly?
It was the shoulder tendonitis,
Which side?
the right side.
The right side. So what, was it just rest or did you need surgery?
No, it needed a physio to attend it because the muscle had shifted from its original position. So they had to work up on it for a couple of months in order for it to get back to its original place.
I think anybody who's had that sort of injury, I've spoken to boxers before who've had that kind of injury, it's psychologically make yourself trust it, knowing that it could do what it did before you had the problem. Is that what you've found?
Yeah, the injury did create a factor in me, but as a true champion, you need to adjust, and obviously you need to adapt because such things can take you from your route. I don't think the injury is going to stand in my way. I believe I'm going to give a good fight against Casimiro. He's a good fighter, and the fans wants to see a good fight.
He's somebody who you've obviously been aware of for a long time. Both of you have been in professional boxing for something like 12 or 13 years now. What's his strengths as a fighter? What do you have to watch out for?
Casimiro is a good fighter. Sometimes he comes forward and he can also box, and he's got his power. Those are the things we've worked on, and I believe 30th November we'll deal with all those things and be victorious on the night.
You've shown us some brilliant boxing skills in the time that that we've been able to watch you in the British ring. Do you believe now, though, having had this setback and at the age of 31, that you can still perform at the level that you have been doing?
I still believe I can still perform. It's only a shoulder, but mentally and physically, Zolani is still there. My boxing is still there. My boxing brains are still there. So definitely Zolani will perform once again. It
must have been massively frustrating to you because a lot of you, I was involved in commentating on that World Series at one stage, and we were all looking forward potentially massively to a fight between yourself and Inoue. How much of a disappointment and a frustration was it that didn't happen?
It was very frustrating because we've been working hard, and those were the fights we were looking for, to fight the best in the bantamweight. But unfortunately from my side, I had to pull out because of the injury. But I believe my dream is still continuing because I'm fighting one of the best, Casimiro. And definitely along the line, I'll have to fight Inoue because he's the IBF and WBA. And I'll defend my title, and hopefully my next fight would be against Inoue.
Unification is what you really crave, isn't it?
Unification is what we want.
Is that fight one which is your big motivation now? I know you've got to fight John on Saturday night, and I promise you I'm not being disrespectful, but is that in the distance the one you really want against Inui?
I don't think it's in the distance. I think this fight is a step closer.
And the fact that he's recently signed for Bob Arum, Frank Warren works closely with Bob Arum, as we all know, I guess that makes it all the more makeable.
Yeah, it's possible for the fight to happen, hopefully early next year or mid next year. I believe Mr. Frank Warren will do whatever he does best to make sure the fight does happen.
So, before that, come Saturday night, I'll ask both of you just to say what sort of a fight it's going to be. Clearly you both think you're going to win, but let's hear from John Riel Casimero first of all. What sort of a fight are we going to see?
For me, I'm a work hard, so maybe I'm a win.
And how do you win? Is it going to be points, knockouts? What do you reckon?
Knock him out.
Shoulders
coming up.
This all people he want to knock him out, then I will do my best to knock out.
And Zolani, somebody up there suggesting his shoulder's going to come off. What do we actually? I think that might be a little bit far-fetched. What are we actually going to see?
No, I don't know, my brother. You're not going to see the shoulder going off. But you'll see the punches landing on Casimiro's head.
And you're still going to be the champion?
Definitely. No, I am a WBO world champion, and I'll remain the WBO world champion on the 30th of November.
It's a fight I'm looking forward to enormously, and thank you very much indeed for being here and hearing from the fighters who've been so good in responding to questions heard around the country, around the world on the internet. Tickets, as I say, Saturday night are available. You're going to be able to watch live on BT Sport, and it promises to be a great evening of boxing. They're all here to do one-on-one interviews, and before then we'll have square-offs now for photographs. But thank you very much for your time, guys, and thank you very much for being such a great audience. Thank you.